I'm Bill Allen, a successful business owner, and my real estate investment company this year made the Inc. 500 list. We were number 206 on this list of 5,000 fastest growing companies in the nation this year. That was a 2,081% growth for us, and we were number 6 of all real estate companies. Impressive, right? But this doesn't happen overnight. It was a 5-year journey. And to tell you how we got there, we really need to go back in time all the way to 2015 when all of this started for me. Looking back, I can definitely say that there was a lot of hard work, passion, dedication, challenges, and achievements. But if I had to point my finger to one thing, the one thing that was the catalyst of all this growth, it would be an event called Flip Hacking Live. I joined Seven Figure Flipping in December of 2015. It's a mastermind group where people come together and share what we're doing. There were about 20 of us there at the time where we're helping each other grow our real estate investment businesses to try to reach 7 figures in a year. I remember hearing about Flip Hacking Live for the first time when Justin Williams asked me to be one of the speakers. That year, I grew my business from 1 deal to almost 70 deals. So I had a lot to share. The event was planned for October of 2016, and that was right around the time that our second baby was going to be born. We found out a few months earlier that he had a heart condition and he would need open heart surgery. So right after he was born, he was going to need to go into the hospital and have surgery, and he was due 2 weeks after the event. I remember talking to my wife about this event and saying, there's something about it. I really feel called that I have to go. I know this is not the best timing, but I really feel like I need to go. And she said, absolutely not at first. And I remember having multiple discussions about it, but we finally sat down and had a conversation about it. And we agreed that I could go, but if anything comes up, that I would fly home right away. Okay, so these guys all know me, so that's why they're cheering so loud. So I flew out to San Diego that year, and there were about 150 people in the room. I was one of the attendees primarily, but I also got the honor to speak from stage. It was a really cool dynamic that happened at that event. It was in a tiny conference room, but to me, it felt so big at the time. The event propelled me from doing almost 70 deals that year to go and grow my company. I knew that I could do more than that leaving that event. I learned a ton of techniques and strategies that would help me grow my business in the future. I was in the 7 Figure Flipping Mastermind group then, but there were a lot of people at that Flip Hacking Live event in 2016 who didn't qualify for it, but they still wanted to join. So Justin and Andy rolled out a new program called 6 Figure Flipping at that event. And it was an acceleration program that was designed to help people grow their business, to launch them into 7 Figure Flipping, almost like the minor leagues to move up into 7 Figure Flipping. The event was a huge success. It was really cool to see people getting excited about the programs and seeing the value that that event could bring. I knew I was on the right path and I was surrounded by the right people. I had no idea that these people would later become some of my best friends and the most impactful people in my life in this journey that I'm on. I met Adam Ray and Jeremiah Johnson for the first time at this event, and this is the first year that Ariane and Chris Lemire joined the group. It's incredible looking back and remembering going to dinner with Jeremiah and his wife one night, just randomly. And from there, we built this relationship that blossomed into what it is now as business partners. It's unbelievable. After looking back with everything with my son needing heart surgery, meeting Jeremiah there was special. He had a son who had open heart surgery too. That gave me a lot of peace in knowing that when I left there, that everything was going to be okay with James. Andy and Justin at that event chose to raise money for a charity, and they decided that the charity they were going to pick was the Children's Heart Foundation and donate money in James's name. We ended up raising $17,000 from that group of 150 investors, and then Andy and Justin matched that to make it $35,000. I remember going on stage to collect this check for the Children's Heart Foundation in the name of my unborn son, James, and to see all the people that had this impact in his life even before he was born. It was absolutely amazing. And so when I said earlier that I was called, now I could understand why that was. It had a huge impact on my personal life and also my professional life. It was just an incredible experience to go to an event like that and see so many investors and other people that actually cared about others and not just themselves. After the event, my son James was born. He had 4 open heart surgeries in the first 6 months of his life and 3 cardiac, heart catheters, huge, 7 big surgical events. I knew that my focus had to be on my family then, but I also wanted to continue growing my business. I had seen a lot of success. I remember 2017 being a ton of hard work with my family and my business, but it paid off big time. I was able to grow the company, do a lot more deals, and again, I was asked to speak at Flip Hacking Live in 2017. On top of that, I was also asked by Justin to be one of the coaches of the 7-Figure Flipping Mastermind, which was amazing. So I knew that I had a bigger role to play at this event in San Diego in 2017. And my plan was to talk about my growth. So how I went from doing 1 deal a year to doing hundreds of deals and creating a multi-million-dollar company while still flying full-time for the Navy. That year we had about 300 people at the event, so it doubled in size. And this year we knew we had to do something a little bit different. We had 17 companies that had grown from where they were to $1 million or more in gross profit. And they wanted something more than what was available in 6-figure and 7-figure flipping. It had been a running joke inside the mastermind group for a while, but it had come time to push people to get to $10 million. So we rolled out a program called 8-figure flipping at this Flip Hacking Live in 2017 for the folks who were already at 7 figures trying to get to 8. This event was absolutely amazing. It was 3 days of action-packed, intense speakers, and really changed the business and lives of those 300 people. We had presenters at this event who had attended Flip Hacking Live in 2016, had never done a deal before that, and they had created a 7-figure business in 12 months since that event. And they showed everyone how they did it. They came to Flip Hacking Live 2016, they joined the mastermind group, and grew a 7-figure business from scratch. And we had 17 companies that did that over the last 12 months since Flip Hacking Live. Andy McFarland had a significant life event that happened in just after Flip Hacking Live in 2016. I think it was in November, a month after Flip Hacking Live. He lost his brother, and the charity that we supported this year in 2017 was in honor of his little brother. We raised money for the Jared Prescott Trust to build schools and dig wells in Myanmar. We were able to raise $50,000 for that charity, and it was a very emotional event for Andy and everyone else that was involved. There was also a huge hurricane that year in Texas that caused a ton of flooding, and we were able to bring a family in and pay for their rental property, their stay, all of these things in Texas to get their house back in order. It was an amazing event. It was really incredible to see the impact that was made on the people in attendance, and even though I was more experienced at this point, I still filled up an entire notebook with amazing notes. There was just so much more information that others shared that year, and I knew that with that information that was presented, I was going to be able to keep growing my company and continue to do more deals and more business with it. This event in 2017 inspired me so much that right when I got home, I reached out to Justin and said, I need to do more. I reached out to Justin and said, I need to do more. I knew that I needed to be more involved. And fortunately, he said to me, look, you tell me what you want to do. You've earned it. If you think you can do it, you can do it. And I said, look, I want to run the company. I want to be the COO, and I'll work my way up to it. So I don't think that I need to do that right now, but I know that I'm capable and I can figure out how to get there. So I started as the director of fulfillment and eventually worked my way up to the COO of the company. And that was a lot of weight for me for the next year. I still had my blackjack real estate company to run and also to work my way up to the COO of Seven Figure Flipping. So it really pushed me and accelerated my need to hire a COO for my real estate company. So this next Flip Hacking Live in 2018, it was now my event to plan. So I had never been on the planning side of this event before. I just showed up and I got to speak from stage and network and talk to people. But I knew that I wanted to do something a little bit different in 2018 with this event. I wanted to bring somebody in from outside of our world. Before, it had just been speakers from our mastermind group and other people in the industry, but I wanted to bring in somebody else who wasn't a real estate investor, who could really motivate and drive us to grow, not just professionally, but also personally. So that year I went out to other events. I scouted speakers and I found the perfect person. This was the first year that we had Walter Bond come speak at our event. Walter's a world-class Hall of Fame motivational speaker. He's a previous NBA basketball player and he blew the doors off of Flip Hacking Live in 2018. We stepped up this event that year to a whole new level that I didn't even think was possible. Most people think that Flip Hacking Live is just a real estate conference, but to me and a lot of my friends, there's so much more than that. It was the catalyst to my success and the one thing that I can point to that changed everything for me, both personally and financially. This is also the first year that we brought in Operation Underground Railroad as the charity we were going to support. Tim Ballard is the founder of OUR, and we invited him to come to this event. He's incredibly busy. He does a ton for the charity, a ton for the community, just an amazing guy. And he ended up coming to this event. And what we did was we asked everyone to come back late Thursday night after dinner to watch a 2-hour documentary. So at 8 o'clock, we asked everybody to come back and watch a documentary about this amazing charity. OUR is an organization that fights to eradicate human trafficking in the United States and overseas. They save children from sex trafficking. I mean, that is something that we can all support and get behind. Almost everyone at the conference came back from 8 to 10 o'clock and we watched the documentary about how this organization started and Tim Ballard's story. Tim stayed until after midnight since every single person in that audience wanted to shake his hand and take a picture with him afterwards. We ended up raising over $75,000 from the attendees. Some people donated $10,000. We had somebody donate $20,000. And we ended up matching it as a company for a total of $150,000. Just unbelievable. But even better than that, we raised a ton of awareness for this incredible organization and helped them shed light on this horrible, dark issue. The investors that showed up to Flip Hacking Live 2018 walked out way better than they walked in. Over these 3 days, we laughed, we cried, we worked together, we networked, and we learned a ton. There were about 400 people there at this event. Just amazing to see the level and caliber of people that kept showing up and growing their businesses year over year. So leaving that event, I put all the tactics to work immediately. I still had a business to run, but my COO, Nate, and my entire team were rocking and rolling. Nate was running on his own, and I knew that I could spend almost all of my time in the seven-figure flipping company from there. And I did. As we were growing, Justin and I had some different ideas of where the company was heading. And so I remember one day in June, he called me and asked if I'd be interested in buying the company. Initially, I said, no way. It's just not in the cards for me. But he kept asking and we kept having conversations about it. I told him I'd think about it, and a few days later, we actually agreed to a deal for me to buy the company. When that happened, everything changed for me. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think about anything other than what I was gonna do with this company of mine. And I wanted to make a lot of changes. I wrote down 40 pages of notes. Every morning, I found myself waking up at 3:30 a.m. just writing down notes and plans. New programs, new names, new branding, new messaging, new products. I changed all the plans for Flip Hacking Live and started from scratch with less than 3 months to go. The list went on and on. I had hired a new event company, and we had been planning this event for 4 months when we just threw everything out and started over. So Flip Hacking Live, this event that we created in 2019, was like nothing we'd ever done before. We ended up having 625 people attend this event. We rebranded the entire company. We renamed the programs. We didn't tell anybody about any of this before the event either. It was a huge secret. They showed up to new logos, new names, new everything. As the new owner, I was able to put my stamp on everything. I was able to go in a different direction and make adjustments and really start building the company that I envisioned. And at the end of that event, I felt like I was on cloud 9. I mean, 625 people in downtown San Diego at the Hilton Bayfront Hotel overlooking Coronado, where I used to fly my helicopters over the bridge. I mean, I could see the base. I could see the place that I was born in San Diego, where my dad was stationed on submarines. I mean, this year, we really stepped it up to a new level. We brought back Walter Bond, and this year we brought in Jocko Willink. He's the author of Extreme Ownership, a retired Navy SEAL, and all around bad dude. I wanted to show people what leadership was and to teach everybody in our community about taking ownership. Jocko did an amazing job at that event. We inspired people, we motivated people, and we propelled businesses to launch and grow to an entirely new level. And at this event, we removed all the other programs and rolled out a new one called the 7-Figure Runway. We also turned 7-Figure Flipping, the mastermind group, into 7-Figure Altitude. Additionally, I created an award called the 7-Figure Club for all those business owners who topped 1 million in gross profits over the past 12 months. I took a little military spin and created a challenge coin for them that we use in the military, and a commemorative plaque that they could hang in their office to show that achievement. This was a huge honor for me to be able to give this away to them. And for the new 7-Figure Runway members, we closed the doors for a year to make sure that we only focused on them. We focused on those individual businesses that were just getting started because they needed the best chance to succeed. They were just a spark and they needed to grow into this roaring fire. And to do that, we knew that we had to focus on them for a year without bringing in any new people, without worrying about revenue. We only worried about them and their business. After that event, I was even more excited about the next year to come. I was ready to pour into those new 7-Figure Runway members, the new 7-Figure Altitude members, and this new company that we created just 3 months before that event. And I had big plans for 2020. Our first event after Flip Hacking Live was the first ever 7-Figure Flipping Cruise in February. This was an unbelievable event like none we had ever done before. We had the best week ever. And when we docked back in port, there was so much noise about some virus in China, but we weren't paying any attention to it. We had a great time together, but little did we know that our day-to-day lives were going to change significantly. And that's when a lot of things came crashing down on us. We had plans to do multiple in-person events in 2020, and of course, nothing went as planned. So what did we do? We had to adapt. We had to adjust. We had to make changes. We had to pivot. We had to make sure that we provided our clients the highest level of service possible. Flip Hacking Live has always been a live in-person event. But I had people reaching out to me saying they're not comfortable getting on a plane. They're not sure they want to go this year. They're scared of what could happen, and I understand that. I also had people saying, I'm going no matter what. Just a lot of uncertainty. There were a lot of things happening, and in that uncertainty, I had to make a decision for the best of the community. So we pivoted. We had to make an adjustment, and we did. And once again, 7 months of planning, just like last year, turned into 3 months of planning a 100% virtual event. For me, challenge accepted. So just like last year, 3 months out, we went all in for this virtual event and scrapped everything we had done so far. We knew that we could execute at a very high level and produce the most impactful real estate event out there. When I look back over the last 4 years of Flip Hacking Live, I see growth, I see impact, I see changes, adjustments, rebranding, launching new programs, and lots of new things. And I see people growing 7-figure businesses year over year. I see people who have never done a deal doing 7 figures in their business in 1 year. I also see people building a lifestyle and freedom. Amazing people stepping up to the plate just after this one event. And this year is going to be no different. In fact, this year it's even easier to attend. You don't need an airplane. You don't need to get a hotel room. You don't need to have time away from your family. A virtual event allows so many more people to come in and experience this incredible, impactful 3-day event. We have a ton of amazing things planned this year, and we're stepping up our game to a new level. I have new things planned. I've got new speakers. I've got exciting keynote presenters coming. I've got the exact formula of how to make money in this business going forward. We have the map to the 7-figure business that we're gonna give to you. Each speaker has a map that they're gonna hand to you. We're not gonna spend time over these 3 days looking backwards. We're gonna look forward. We're gonna figure out how we go into this new normal, how we're gonna evaluate this new opportunity, and how we're gonna position ourselves and our business to properly take advantage of that. There's a ton of opportunity coming, so we're gonna prepare you for it. I've spent all my time figuring out the best program that I could put together for all of the real estate investors out there. Going virtually, we're able to pack more into these 3 days. We're able to bring you speakers that we wouldn't have been able to bring before. We're able to keep the price down significantly compared to a live event, and we're able to impact even more people. This is an exciting year to be a part of Flip Hacking Live. We're the pioneers in this new virtual event space. I don't know if we'll ever have the opportunity to come together like this again in the same way. So I'm spending all of my time, all of my resources, and all of my energy to make sure that these 3 days are the most impactful 3 days that you could have possibly spent in 2020. This is an event that you don't want to miss because we're going to have so many new surprises. We're going to announce new opportunities. Every year we change something and we do something new. We're going to create new partnerships. We're going to create new networking opportunities. We're going to share ideas and concepts that you wouldn't never think about on your own. You have to be at this event to be a part of what we're going to do together. You don't want to miss Flip Hacking Live this year, especially because what we have planned and what we're going to announce may never come around again.